Hey everyone, so in today's video I am showing you how to get a classic look with a little bit of a twist. It is that time of year, 4th of July is coming up. Cleveland happens to be hosting the MLB All-Star game, and so, you know, of course, Cleveland Indians colors, sort of reds and blues. So I figured I could do a really simple, like I said, classic look with the winged eyeliner, the red lip, but with a pop of blue. So you can be patriotic, you could be cheering on your tribe, you can be doing whatever you want this summer. You don't even have to do the blue. If you want to recreate this look and take another color on your lower lash line for another fun pop of color for another look or another occasion, this is a really good baseline guideline for you to emulate. So if you want to see how I got this really cute, really classic with a little bit of fun twist look, then just keep watching. All right, so about to get started. I'm going to first prep my face like I always do. So now I'm going to prime my face. I'm priming mostly in my areas where my pores are most prominent. So right around my nose, in between my eyebrows, and on my chin. All right, so like I said, eyes first today. We are not doing anything super intricate, but definitely still need to prime. I always prime my eyelids no matter how simple or intricate my eye look is. So I'm gonna use my concealer to go ahead and just cancel out any of the discoloration that's on my eyelids. Okay, so for today's look, as I was saying in the intro, I'd really liked it to just be a simple classic look, but with a little bit of a twist. So I'm not going to be using too many colors, anything too crazy on the eyelids. I'm going to be using the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. It was my dream palette, so to speak, for 2018. I really wanted it, and I bought it earlier this year, and I'm in love with it. It is great for travel. I usually carry this in my makeup bag. That's why it looks a little, you know, dirty, dusty, but it's well loved and well used. So I'm mostly just going to be using the neutral colors up along the top, but we're gonna throw in a pop of color at the end, and I think you'll understand why. So first, I'm going to take a light brown just in my crease to get things going. I'm going to take the shade right here in the middle on the top called Weekender. Like I said, very light brown. All right, so we threw the first layer down of this color. I'm just gonna keep building it up so that the color is a little deeper, a little more pronounced before we go in with another shade. All right, and so I'm going to start mixing colors. I'm going to take the color we've been using and mix it with a little bit of the color a couple doors down from it called Riff, which is a little, you know, a little bit deeper, a little warmer, and just continue to place it in the same spot, deepening up the crease. Okay, cool. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that shade that we were mixing called Riff, the deeper one, and use it on its own. And I'm going to take it on a different brush, one that's a little bit flatter but is still a blending brush. And I'm going to put it on the outer corners of my eyes by patting, which this brush you can easily do because of its, you know, flat element, and then start blending into the outer edge of the crease. So as you can see, even the simple shades, or you know, your basic shades in this palette are really pigmented, really easily blend, probably exactly why I wanted this palette in the first place. I heard so many good things about it, and it has totally lived up to exactly what I thought it would. I also thought I would say that I like to put my deeper colors just on the outer edges of my eye instead of taking them all the way through my crease, so that it adds a little bit of depth and definition to your eye. It helps shape your eye and doesn't just leave it, you know, dark all the way through. It gives it a little bit more shape, a little bit more definition. So now I'm going to take the tiniest bit of this color on the end here called Good As Gone. It's a really deep, like neutral, almost cool toned brown, and I'm just taking the tiniest little bit of it on that same brush we were just using and deepening up the outer corner even more. Now I'm going to take a flat brush, or just, a plain lid eyeshadow brush, and take this color on the opposite end of the front row, or the top row I should say, called Breakaway. It is a creamy color that is not quite a matte and not quite a satin, somewhere in between. It has a little bit of sheen to it, but it's really pretty and just really easy just to throw on the lid so that your lid space isn't bare completely. Awesome. So now I'm going to take a completely clean brush that doesn't have any product on it and look in my little mirror so that I'm a little bit closer and make sure there are no harsh edges, blend everything out, make sure that everything looks seamless. And then to finish up the eyeshadow on the top, as you can see, like I said, super simple, nothing that takes a lot of time. I'm going to take that shade Riff, the warm brown, and just blend the edges together for one last final step. Okay, so you may be wondering why I chose to do my eyeshadow first when there wasn't going to be any glitter or anything that could fall out onto my face. Sometimes it's just personal preference, but for today, it's because I'm going to be doing a winged eyeliner. Now, I am still not the best with winged eyeliner. I try, it takes a lot of practice, but one trick that I like to do if I'm either in a hurry or if I don't feel like sitting and practicing or taking it off or whatever the case may be if you mess up, you could take Scotch tape, which is what I have right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up with the outer edge of my eye, almost as a barrier or as a stencil for the liquid eyeliner so that it has a line to guide. I'm going to take my little mirror so that I can see a little bit closer. You can pick it up and adjust it if you need to. And I promise you that this does not hurt when you take the tape off. The only part about using the tape, which, you have to be conscious of this whether you're using tape or not, is making sure that your lines are symmetrical on both sides. So let's try this on the other side. So now I'm going to take my black liquid liner. Today I'm using the NYX Professional Makeup Epic Ink Liner in the shade black, of course. It is a really, really nice black liner that happens to be affordable as well. So I'm not going to talk while doing this. It is something I still need to put my full concentration into. So you'll see me with my winged eyeliner in just a second. All right, so as you can see, I just ripped my tape off and I have a nice sharp wing. Anything that bled under the tape or didn't get exactly on the lines, you can fix with your concealer and your foundation when you put that on, which is another reason why I like to do my eye makeup first when I do winged eyeliner. I think this looks pretty even. It's never going to look perfect. I'm convinced even the best makeup artists can never get an even liquid liner. But I think it looks really good for, the trick. So as you can see, I'm just going to leave my eyes simple up on top. I'm going to do the pop of color using this palette here in just a second, but I like to put my base on and do my foundation and my concealer and some powder before I put that lower lash line on. So we have already primed, so I'm going to now do my foundation. I am using today the Wet n Wild PHOTOFOCUS foundation, another really nice drugstore product that I have found. I am in the shade Shell Ivory. I'm just going to take the paddle and dot it on my face. In some places, draw lines on other, just try to get as much off one paddle or one dip into the bottle as I can. I'm going to blend it out using my Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge, another really nice affordable option if you can't or don't feel like buying beauty blenders all the time. This is a really nice like I said, option that you can get at places like Ulta. I believe Walmart carries their products as well. So a nice alternative. And so as I mentioned in my first video, if you haven't watched it, there'll be a link to it below where you can find it on the playlist. I have never had luck with foundation wearing nicely or sitting nicely on my nose. I can't explain it. I don't know why. I don't have particularly oily or dry skin. It just doesn't look nice. So while foundation wears faster on my nose than it does the rest of my face, I like to have a little bit of a barrier between my skin and my foundation. And by that I mean I like to throw a little bit of concealer down on my nose before I put foundation on, just so as it wears throughout the day, it doesn't get rubbed completely bare. And then of course I'll throw a little bit of foundation on top of this as well, just so that the color on my face is completely uniform. All right, for concealer today, I'm going to be using one that I almost use exclusively. It is one of my favorite products that I have found over the past couple years. This is the ColourPop No Filter Matte Concealer. I have a couple different shades because I like to mix them. I like to wear them alone, you know, and they're so affordable that it doesn't really make that much of a difference to me. So I'm going to actually be mixing two today. I'm going to be mixing Light 12 and Fair number 6. So I'm going to put this concealer under my eyes, do a little bit of spot treating on my face, and then also putting concealer down my nose, on my chin a little bit, just to bring the light to the center of my face. And of course, while I'm concealing under my eyes, I will be able to touch up anything that might have gone awry while doing the winged eyeliner, which there really isn't much. There's a tiny little bit on this eye, so that'll easily be fixed with concealer. Okay, so now I'm going to set this concealer in place so that it doesn't crease or move or fade throughout the day. I'm using the Maybelline FITME Loose Finishing Powder in the fairest shade. It is basically like a translucent powder. It gives a little bit of coverage, but not too much. It's also a really nice blurring, soft focus type of powder. So go ahead and set my under eyes using that same sponge. And then I'm going to set the center of my face, you know, the other places where I set down the concealer, using a brush instead of the sponge. Okay, we're looking good so far. I think I'm going to go back to my eyes now just to finish those up. So I guess this is where the fun part comes in for the eyeshadow, at least. I am going to put a pop of color on my waterline, as I've said a couple of times, but what I'm thinking would look really cool for this time of year, you know, 4th of July is coming up, Cleveland is hosting the Major League Baseball All-Star game this year, and of course with the Indians and their colors being, you know, red, white, and blue, very patriotic, I figured we could do a little bit of blue on the lower lash line. So that's where this palette really comes into play, I should say, or what makes it really great is that we can use the neutrals up top but have our pick of the litter of what color we want on the bottom. So like I said, I'm going to use some blue. I'm going to take this color right here called Radio. It's close to the bottom corner. It is a shimmery shade, but the sparkle isn't too intense. And it's like almost a navy blue, so it's not exactly Indians colors, but it's close enough. So I'm going to take it on a small blending brush, and I'm going to blend it under my under eye and get really close with my little mirror just to make sure it looks as blended as possible. I'm happy with the way this looks, so I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Okay, I really like the way this looks. I don't do this very often. But I think this is a really cool way to wear blue eyeshadow, especially if you're a little intimidated to wear it all over your eye, which I know many people are, and it's not exactly wearable for every day. But if you want to wear blue eyeshadow or you want to look, you know, a little patriotic, as I was saying, for the time of year, I think this could be a really cool way to incorporate blue into your look. So now that the eyeshadow is done, that was simple enough, I'm going to curl my eyelashes and throw some mascara on. Today I am using another ColourPop product. This is the ColourPop BFF Volumizing Mascara in the shade Black on Black, just their black shade of the mascara. They have a bunch of fun shades in this particular line, but I might be a little too chicken to try out, you know, a pink mascara. I think black is best for me. Awesome, eyes are done. Now I'm going to finish off my face, starting with a little bit of contouring, not anything too harsh. I'm going to take my Anastasia Beverly Hills contour powder shade. Fawn is the shade I use, and this actually is a refill pan that you can buy online separately from the whole palette in case the whole palette's scheme doesn't work for you, like it is the case for me. So I'm going to do a light contour along my cheeks, my jawline, nothing too harsh. All right, and so even if it's summertime and a lot of us, I'm not including myself in here, but a lot of us have a little bit more color to our skin, I think it is extremely important to bronze just to give your face some shape and, you know, maybe even a little extra color. I'm using my favorite bronzer. It is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer in the shade Light Bronzer. They have a couple different shades. I use the lightest one because I'm so fair. And I bronze right over where I contoured on my cheeks, and then of course like along my jawline, but I'm also going to bronze along my forehead, just along the places where the sun naturally hits your face. Okie dokie, before I do my blush, I'm actually going to do my highlighter first. It's something I've been trying out a lot recently to see if I like doing the steps this way. You know, it's always fun to experiment and see what works best for you. I think that when you do your bronzer, then your highlighter, then your blush, that the blush blends in better and it doesn't just look like three distinct, you know, stripes or places on your face. It all looks blended more seamlessly. So I'm going to be using the Smashbox Spotlight Highlighting Palette. They have two of these. This is in their Fair palette, which is called Pearl. I'm going to be taking this one on the end that has a little bit of a pale yellow, almost like pale gold hue to it. And I'm going to put it in all the usual places. So highlighter done. Now I'm going to do just a little bit of blush. I'm going to be taking the Pretty Vulgar, is the name of the brand, Pretty Vulgar. You can find them at Sephora and online. This is their blush in the shade Hush Blush. Say that 10 times fast. It is a rosy color, nothing too warm. I didn't want anything too warm with this look, especially with the blue eyeshadow. I thought that it would look better with a neutral or more cool tone shade on the cheeks as well. Okay, and I'm going to just take a clean brush with no product on it and just go over all of those to make sure nothing is harsh. Cool, so my final step before I throw some lipstick on is my eyebrows. I explained in my last video how I don't use a lot of different products in my eyebrows, and since I was blessed with fuller eyebrows that I try my best not to pluck, I just use a pencil. This one is from L'Oreal. It is their Brow Stylist Shape and Fill. And everyone has their own eyebrow preferences anyhow, so I'll just go ahead and fill these in quickly. Lately I have not been doing even, you know, a thick fill-in, so this won't take very long. I'll be right back. So once my eyebrows are done, I like to put a little bit of highlighter on the brow bone and on the inner corner of my eye, but I like to do this just about last, just so that I don't get any brow product or brow mascara into the highlight. So just the littlest bit at the arch of your brow, and then on the inner corner as well, using the same highlight that we used on the rest of our face. It just helps brighten things up a touch. All right, so before we set our face, I'm going to do my lips. Now, this wouldn't be a patriotic or Cleveland Indians or, you know, summertime fun look without a red lip. I think if you're going to do blue eyeshadow and you're going to be patriotic, you got to throw on a red lip. So I'm going to take a red lip liner. So as you can see, I've filled in my full lips with this red lip liner. I like to do that when I wear a darker color, just because if you're going to be eating or drinking or talking a lot or just out for a long time and it's going to wear, as you know, lip colors naturally do, I think keeping the liner underneath helps it wear a little bit, I shouldn't say more seamlessly, but you know, it has a nicer fade if there's a color underneath it as well. So the red lipstick I'm going to put on top is CIATE London Liquid Velvet Lipstick. It's a matte liquid lipstick, but it's really comfortable. And this color red is really nice. Before I throw it on, it's hard to talk and put lipstick on. This is a red with a blue undertone instead of a red with a warm undertone. Usually those, you know, make your teeth look whiter. They make you look a lot, you know, brighter and happier, at least in my opinion and with my skin tone. So that's why I like to reach for reds with a blue undertone. This particular formula, I do only have this color, this red color from the brand, but it is so comfortable to wear and it is so easy to apply with the applicator that's on it that I think I need to buy like all the shades. I really love it. So as my final step, I'm going to set my face. I'm using the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. Okay, and this is the finished look.